Well, I regret to inform you that transgenders are attempting to ruin Christmas.
This is our transgender Christmas. We'll stocking stuff our genders in your face. That's right, a very merry transgender Christmas. If you misgender us, we'll spray your ass with mace.
Nope, not today, Satan. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. Welcome back to Sara Gonzales Unfiltered. We were just talking yesterday with my guest about whether President Trump was going to take action on all of this immigration situation when we are talking about the shithole countries. And in fact, just hours after the episode aired, President Trump must have watched Sara Gonzales Unfiltered because he just announced that the United States is halting all immigration cases, including citizenship ceremonies, for nationals of 19 countries, according to internal guidance. So there's no more paths to citizenship if you are a national of these countries of concern that you guys see. We went over this the other day. It's all the usual suspects. And stopping the naturalization ceremonies for people who were maybe just about to get it, because it turns out it's a really bad idea to let a bunch of people in who don't actually intend on assimilating or being loyal to this country and the morals and values upon which it was founded. And so when Donald Trump has come out and done this, he's made it very clear the biggest focus right now is the people of Somalia, the people from Somalia. And I say the people of Somalia actually very intentionally because they don't denounce anything. They don't deny their loyalty to their home country. It's this very strange thing of the people of Somalia that they don't seemingly have any interest in assimilating here, in being loyal to this country and being loyal to this Constitution and being loyal to the laws that we have in the United States of America. They're loyal to Somalia. They've made that very clear. And President Trump, we played this yesterday. I'm just going to play just a refresher in case you guys missed it. He had the most epic minute-and-a-half rant about Somalia specifically. And I'm going to play this. And I want you to remember, okay? President Trump is tapping into how everyone feels. Nobody else can say this. Nobody else wants to say it. Everyone else is being scared of being called a mean name. Well, I mean, not me. I don't really give a shit what you call me. But I agree with President Trump 100,000,000%. It is something that I have been talking about. It is something that so many of us on the right have been talking about. I don't care what you call me. I don't care if you call me a xenophobe. I don't care if you call me a racist. I don't care if you call me all the names, all the phobes, all the phobias. It doesn't matter because this needs to be said.
I don't want them in our country, I'll be honest with you, okay? Somebody would say, oh, that's not politically correct. I don't care. I don't want them in our country. Their country's no good for a reason. Their country stinks. We're going to go the wrong way if we keep taking in garbage into our country. But when they come from hell and they complain and do nothing but bitch, we don't want them in our country.
I mean, listen, I don't know. I don't know how you dispute that point. Import the third world, become the third world. That's just a fact. That's exactly what's happening in the countries over in Europe that have been trying this. And it's stupid that we would watch all of those things happen to these other countries abroad and be like, oh, we should try this. Maybe it'll end up differently for us. Let me tell you how that's going. Many of them have been busted as being total freaking criminals. Over in Minnesota, they're like carrying out over $1 billion of fraud schemes. They're sending that money that they are taking from America to terrorist groups. These are not good people. And now you might tell me, you might say, if you are not an avid viewer of this program and you do not share my beliefs, you might say, well, Sara, there are some people who were born in Somalia that are good. Maybe there are a handful of good people. To that, I would say, I don't care. It's not worth it. No one is entitled to just be in my country. I don't care that you might be able to point to a handful of people who really, really, really have good intentions when they come here. If the overwhelming majority of them come here and commit crime and commit fraud schemes and are tied to terror groups and rise to the level of Congresswoman and then still complain about how oppressed she is, Ilan, I don't care that you can point to a handful of good people. I don't care. You don't deserve to be here. You are not entitled to be in my country because you want to. Okay? Now, President Trump is apparently sending ICE into Minneapolis, the latest ICE agents descend on Minneapolis to crack down on Somali migrants after Trump said their country, quote, stinks. I thought that was actually nice. I thought that was a nice way. See, I call it a shithole. Now, he did before. He apparently has gotten nicer with age, and he simply says their country stinks. I say it's a shithole. I don't know why they're like, he can't say that. I mean, it is. Show me the lie. If it's not that bad, why are they coming here? If their country's so great, they would just want to say. So, like, show me the lie. Okay. So when you look at what is happening in Minneapolis and you look at this like flashpoint right now, when it comes to immigration, it's not just the illegal immigrants. It's not just the illegal aliens who are coming from El Salvador and Mexico and all of these places in South and Central America. It's not just that. It's these people too. They have set up camp. We talk about it all the time. They've set up camp in Minnesota. They've set up camp in Michigan. Something needs to be done about that. And what else? Something needs to be done about Jacob Frey. He was the newly reelected mayor of Minneapolis. Now, I will say it's probably better him than the guy from the Tom Hanks movie. What was his name? Omar Fateh.
He's the captain.
He's he was.
He's not the captain now.
He's not the captain now.
No, but he was the captain.
He thought he was going to be the captain. He was like, I'm the captain now. And then it turns out he was not the captain and he did not get elected, which is interesting because before I play this clip of Jacob Frey, I want to make sure you guys understand. He wasn't elected Omar Fateh. The theory that they have over in Minneapolis is that it wasn't that he wasn't elected because people were like, it's kind of weird that you're speaking a different language in your campaign stump speeches and you're like talking exclusively to people from Somalia. Like, that's kind of weird that you want to be my mayor. That's not why. That's not why he wasn't elected. He wasn't elected because apparently there's like some gang feud or whatever with all these Somalians. And like, it's like the Bloods and the Crips. And like, if you're not.
It's like the tribes.
Yeah, thank you.
Tribes.
It's like it's a tribal feud. I just liken it to the Bloods and the Crips. So
I like liking it back to like 408, like years ago or something.
I mean, I'd say like get the over it if it stems from that long ago. But the point is, it was just the different tribes that were like fighting amongst themselves. And the people who were not Omar Fateh's tribe were like, we don't want to elect him because he's not the right kind of Somalian. That was why he didn't get elected. I just want to put that out there. Okay, so here's the white guy, Jacob Frey, who has, been very clear that he stands with all of these Somalians and he's going to stand against ICE coming into his city and he stands against Trump and deporting the criminals and it violates the moral fabric of what we stand by in this country as Americans, according to Jacob Frey. Like, he is all out simping for these Somalians, and here was part of his speech.
That's not American. That's not what we are about. And we're going to do right by every single person in our cities. And so to our Somali community, Daman Shabka, Somalied Kunul, Minnesota, Garahan, Minneapolis,
come on,
Waan, Kuji, Janila Hai,
dude,
Waan.
Look, even the guy behind him's laughing at him.
Gereb, Taganahan.
The guy, Stephen. Go ahead. Show me the guy. The guy behind him is like trying so hard not to laugh at this guy speaking Somalian. You're a white guy, dude. It's like, stop. Just stop. Everyone is laughing at you. So the mayor is a white guy simping for the Somalians, which I totally understand. You had the Minneapolis police chief who had to give this speech a while back because he actually said, actually, some of these Somalians are criminals. And they were like, you're not allowed to say that about Somalians. I'm the captain now. And he was like, okay, all right, okay. I'm sorry. I'll apologize on TV. And they had all these cameras in front of him. And who was surrounding him? A bunch of Somalians. And they were like, you're going to apologize or else. They're like the mafia of Minneapolis at this point. They run the streets of Minneapolis, and you will submit. And if you're white, you're going to be speaking Somalian here in this country, in the United States. And so when it comes to all of these Somalians, of course, the poster child for that is Ilhan Omar, the woman who married her brother, the incestuous Ilhan Omar. And Ilhan Omar wants to make this about her. She sees the opportunity to make this entire thing about President Trump being obsessed with her and her people. And so here is what she is saying now about all of this.
The president's obsession with me and the Somali community is really unhealthy. It's creepy. And I hope that he gets the help that he needs.
I would love for anyone, to count the number of times that Ilhan Omar has gone on social media and posted about President Trump. I would love to see that number because these people eat, sleep, and breathe everything that Donald Trump says, does, acts, looks at. Oh my God, he has a bruise on his hand. Oh my God, he said something that we don't like. He posted on Truth Social. Like, these people can't get enough of Donald Trump. And Ilhan Omar wants to make it about her. Oh, I don't understand why Donald Trump is so obsessed with me. He's not obsessed with you. He just wants you the out of our country. And you know what? Me too. I do too. We all want you out of our country. You come here, you don't appreciate anything. You rise to the level of Congresswoman and you're still complaining about how oppressed you are somehow. I don't know. I mean, it seems to me that you've been given everything, that you've been given afforded every opportunity, more opportunity than American citizens in some cases, because you came here as a refugee. And we took you in your swaddling hijab, and we allowed you to come into our country, and we allowed you to take advantage of our resources. And now, what thanks do we get? Ilhan Omar complaining about our country, about our Constitution, about our law and order, about the fact that we don't want illegal criminals in our country, in our states. Just get the out. I don't understand why he's not obsessed with you. He just wants you out. I hope that I cleared that up. 113 posts, the control room tells me. 113 posts about Donald Trump, but he's obsessed with you. Okay, baby girl. Sorry, that math ain't mathing. All right? Now, it's not just Ilhan Omar that has just, decided to Trump is breaking all of them. Okay, it's not just Ilhan Omar. It's like the entire leftist media that they can't handle that Donald Trump he's just lost all of his to give. There's just no more. There's none left. And he's like, I don't actually care. I don't care. People probably don't want me saying this. I don't really care. I don't like them. I don't want them in our country. I think they're bad news for the country. And they can't stand that Donald Trump is saying all of these quiet parts out loud. They can't stand that Donald Trump is speaking up for the everyday American who feels forgotten about, who feels left behind. They can't stand it. And so now they're just they've lost their minds. They've jumped the shark. The New York Times podcast, the headlines released this episode today. Trump's xenophobic outburst. Yes, they are the whole podcast about Trump's xenophobic outburst. I don't know that you can call it xenophobic. A phobia requires me to believe that it is some sort of an irrational fear. This is first not a fear, but also not irrational to feel this way. And then they went even harder in on a full article. Trump calls Somalis garbage he doesn't want in the country. President Trump unleashed a xenophobic tirade against Somali immigrants on Tuesday, calling them garbage he does not want in the United States in an outburst that captured the raw nativism that has animated his approach to immigration. Even for Mr. Trump, this is my favorite part, Even for Mr. Trump, who has a long history of insulting black people, particularly those from African countries, his outburst was shocking in its unapologetic bigotry. Now, you might be wondering at this point, did they give the same energy with Joe Biden, who actually does have a long history of insulting black people? Yeah, I would love to see the New York Times articles written on Joe Biden using the N-word and Joe Biden talking about how it was insane that Barack Obama, it's like the first case of a, clear speaking, he's like, oh, he presents himself well. He speaks well. He looks nice. He looks sharp. He dresses well. The first time ever that an African American has been able to look like that. I would love to hear whether or not New York Times, actually, don't even. I already know the answer. Of course they didn't say anything about Joe Biden and his long history of insulting black people. I don't even know Stephen, do you even know what they're referring to? Even for Mr. Trump, who has a long history of insulting black people? Like what?
No, I mean, it's crazy. Go back 10 years on this. He was in every rap song, rap video, or maybe more than 10, maybe 15, whatever, before 2015.
Yeah, they loved him. He was their homie, because I'm not going to get in trouble. He was their homie, okay? And now all of a sudden he has a long history. That's like, wow, that is some heavy lifting from the New York Times. Very heavy lifting. And listen, you may be thinking like, oh, well, this was just an opinion piece. Well, no, they're just trying to weaponize their reporting against Trump and, package it as news. The long history? Where's the long history? You don't say. Cite your sources, bro. They double down again. Trump appears to fight sleep during cabinet meeting. Oh my gosh, Donald Trump he might doze off, which, by the way, I don't think that he did. I don't believe that he did. But let's just be honest. President Trump is up more hours than like any other president. And by the way, again, where was this energy during Joe Biden? Where was this energy during Joe Biden? President Trump began the meeting by criticizing media coverage about him showing signs of fatigue. Last month, he appeared to doze off during a meeting in the Oval Office. Like, where Joe Biden was dead for 4 years. Like, where were the articles? All of a sudden, they care about all of these things. By the way, let's not forget the one that they put out last week. Shorter days, signs of fatigue. Trump faces realities of aging in office. Yes, he's always used his stamina and energy as his political strength, but that image is getting harder for him to sustain because, Americans see Mr. Trump less than they used to, according to a New York Times analysis of his schedule. So now they're saying he has fewer public events on his schedule, and he's traveling less than he did by this point during his first year in office. So now we're comparing his first term to this term. And we're supposed to believe that, the heavy lifting, the mental gymnastics that are required to write this type of article are truly incredible. The man is getting twice as much done in a shorter amount of time. Like, he's actually just being more efficient. And the New York Times is like, but he's traveling less. He must be aging. Guys, Joe Biden was 200 years old. You couldn't even find a pulse on the guy the whole time he was in office. I'm not going to listen to this from you. I'm just not going to listen to this from you. Neither is Caroline Levitt, who had something to say about that.
And it's deeply unfortunate that this story was written by the same outlet and the same reporter who wrote this. Biden is doing 100% fine after tripping while boarding Air Force One.
There it is.
Oh, same outlet, same reporter who wrote that President Trump is not fit for the job. Are you kidding me? You all see him almost every single day. He is the most accessible president in history. He is taking meetings around the clock. Another one. Biden declared, quote, healthy and vigorous after his first presidential physical.
Well, we all know Joe Biden was full of vigor. You just look at the guy and you're like, that guy is full of vigor. That is the adjective that I would choose in that matter. And I want to close. I think that Scott Bessent was so great when he said this. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, who was just taking the Trump route of like, you know what? I'm going to talk shit on you and I'm just going to say it directly to your face. It would be disrespectful of me to go behind your back. So I'm just going to say this, New York Times, directly to your face.
The New York Times is no longer the paper of record. You can't go. I read this article. Like President Trump is slowing down.
So
President
mad.
Trump's mental capacity. It is 100% fake. That he only called me twice at 2 a.m. last week, instead of 3 times. You had what was one of the greatest scandals of all time. That the coverage of the Biden administration, Joe Biden's diminished capacity, and the cover-up.
And that's why it's probably fair to raise these questions.
Where was the New York Times? We just had a 3-hour cabinet meeting yesterday, Andrew. For 10 months, the Biden administration did not have a cabinet meeting. How are you going to invoke the 25th Amendment if
they all cross their legs like this? They all cross their legs like that. What is with these Democrat men? I use that term loosely, men. What is with these Democrat men who are able to cross their legs like that? That dude, Gavin Newsom, Barack Obama, you guys tell me in the comments. Yeah, look, my crew member's trying to do it right now. Can you even cross your legs like that? You can. You couldn't do it if you tried. You know why? Because you have a dick and balls. Don't turn me into HR. All right, make sure that you subscribe to YouTube, Sara Gonzales Unfiltered, and make sure to smash the like button. It'll help us out in the algorithm, which we all know is stacked against us. But seriously, let me know. I mean, I don't understand how men can cross their legs. I get like the normal crossing of the legs like Scott Bissett was doing. I get that. It's the tight, that's not even comfortable for me, and I don't have the junk.
He's also wearing like kids' small pants too.
Yeah, those are really high. I get, well, maybe when you cross your legs that far, that's what happens. I don't know. You wouldn't know, Stephen, because you, in fact, also have the dick and the balls. Anywho, want to thank our sponsor, Patriot Mobile, who I'm sure is really thrilled. Actually, it's fine. Glenn and Jenny Story, the founders of Patriot Mobile, they're good friends of mine. And I love them because honestly, they really are. It's in the name Patriot Mobile, but they really are some of the greatest patriots that I know. They are taking a portion of the bill that you would pay when you have cell phone coverage with them, which, by the way, it's nationwide coverage. It's all the same. Everyone shares the same towers. There's no contract. They've got all the same. Point is, you can have literally the same coverage that you have now. If you're with Big Mobile, you can move it over to Patriot Mobile, and you can know that instead of Big Mobile taking a portion of your bill and using it to fund, drag brunches for kids or whatever the hell they're using it to fund, which I see them at these LGBT all ages, festivals. T-Mobile's there, AT&T's, they're all there. But Patriot Mobile is doing the opposite. They're taking a portion of your bill and sending it to causes that you are fighting for. Please go check them out. Odds are they're going to save you money as well. So I'm just saying, go over there, go to their website, go see how much it's going to cost you for the same type of plan that you're on right now, and then make the switch to Patriot Mobile, okay? Take a stand today. Go to patriotmobile.com/Sarah and use promo code Sarah for a free month of service. That is patriotmobile.com/Sarah. One of the conversations that I have at home with my family quite often is, what the hell do we do when our school-age children graduate? What do we do? Do they go to university? Do they go to higher education? And if so, where? Because as we all know, all of these universities across the country are just entrenched in all of this DEI, liberal, radical ideology, LGBT, trans. It's all rotted. And it doesn't seem like they're teaching our children anything except how to become indoctrinated into a good little commie. Case in point, you would think that the South would be protected by things like that. You would think that universities in the South, you wouldn't have to worry about that. Well, you do, actually, because over in Oklahoma University, a student has filed a discrimination report. I love this New York Post headline, Oklahoma U student. No one calls it Oklahoma U. It's OU. Or Oklahoma University of Oklahoma, not Oklahoma U. But she filed a discrimination report after flunking a gender essay for her psych class with her trans instructor. That's a lot to unpack. I get it. I understand. I'm right there with you. Okay, so let me explain. The essay was a response to how people are perceived based on societal expectations of gender. That's what the prompt was. And so this student, her name is Samantha, she referenced the Bible multiple times. And of course was like, there are not multiple genders. There are only two genders. I'm going to use the Bible as like my guiding light on that, my guiding principle for that. And apparently the trans instructor didn't like that very much and gave her a 0 as her grade. Now, it's interesting because when you read the actual details of this, it seems to get worse and worse and worse. I want to read some of the essay and then the response from this so-called trans professor. Some of the essay here, this is, again, it's not all of it. We've just pulled out some quotes to give you an idea of what this student said. She said, "This article was very thought-provoking and caused me to thoroughly evaluate the idea of gender and the role it plays in our society. The article discussed peers using teasing as a way to enforce gender norms. I do not necessarily see this as a problem. God made male and female and made us differently from each other on purpose and for a purpose. God is very intentional with what he makes, and I believe trying to change that would only do more harm. Gender roles and tendencies should not be considered stereotypes. Women naturally want to do womanly things because God created us with those womanly desires in our hearts. The same goes for men." And then she goes on to say she strongly disagrees with the idea from the article that encouraging acceptance of diverse gender expressions could improve students' confidence. Society pushing the lie that there are multiple genders and everyone should be whatever they want to be is demonic and severely harms American youth. Preach, sister. And then she goes on to just, I mean, again, this is a Christian young woman who says, "My prayer for the world, and specifically for American society and youth, is that they would not believe the lies being spread from Satan that make them believe they are better off as another gender than what God made them." Now, my first reaction is, why are you asking the students to write an essay about this in the first place? It seems to me like there are far better things that you could be teaching them rather than having them waste their precious time explaining something like, boys have penises and girls have vaginas. That's all. Like that. It took me 5 seconds to just say what needed to be said. You're asking these students to spend all of this time writing an essay trying to explain something that's unexplainable. But then again, we are dealing with a mentally ill professor. This is the response from, that's Mel Kurth, the professor. Boy, isn't that a beautiful woman? No one would ever tell. No one's ever going to guess that that's actually a dude.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Are you shocked?
Oh, that's a total chick.
She's so feminine and beautiful. They is feminine. Sorry. They is so beautiful. They is just so feminine and they is so dainty and they is just a better woman than me, I guess. Now, I would just tell you that dude, the New York Times, interestingly enough, when they wrote about this, they left out any mention that the professor was trans in their story about how he's now been put on leave. I find that part fascinating. Now, let me give you the response to this because I think that it's important to take this in the totality. That he says, "Please note that I am not deducting points because you have certain beliefs, but instead I am deducting they can't even write correctly. I am deducting point for you posting a reaction paper that does not answer the question for this assignment, contradicts itself, heavily uses personal ideology over empirical evidence in a scientific class, and is at times offensive." So they is so beautiful, I forgot that it was a he. He says, "I'm not deducting points because you have certain beliefs," but then he says, "You're entitled to your own personal beliefs. There is appropriate time and place for that. I encourage all students to question or challenge the course material with other empirical findings, but using your own personal beliefs to argue against the findings, is not best practice. Additionally, to call an entire group of people demonic is highly offensive, especially a minoritized population." He just made that word. Is that a word? I don't think that minoritized. I've never heard it. Maybe it's a word.
I mean, they made up a gender stuff, so like, I mean, it's just a word, Sarah.
That's a word at this point. Let's just create new words.
Yeah,
minoritized.
That's the big deal. Great.
Isn't it just minority population? Anywho, I won't try to make much sense of it. You're entitled to your own beliefs, but this isn't a vague narrative of society pushing lies. Blah, 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 blah. This they really likes to hear they self-talk a lot, okay? And so the point is, he says, I'm not giving you the point deduction. I'm not giving you a 0 because of your beliefs. However, I'm going to finish this whole entire statement with, I implore you apply some more perspective and empathy in your work. Seems to me like it's entirely about her beliefs and the fact that she stood up for her, of course, Christian worldview. Now, as I mentioned, the instructor has been put on leave while the college reassesses Samantha's grade. But what really is just so telling about this, I want to give you guys the prompt for the essay, okay? You must write a 650 words body of text, double-spaced reaction paper demonstrating that you read the assigned article and include a thoughtful reaction to the material presented in the article, and then it literally just says, please remember that your reaction paper should not be a summary, but rather a thoughtful discussion of some aspect of the article. And it says a discussion of why you feel the topic is important, an application of the study or results to your own experiences. Like, there's no place where she shouldn't be. It literally says, what are your feelings? Explain to me what your feelings are on this article. And she literally gave that, and the dude didn't like it. The dude didn't like it because he didn't like being called out for being demonic, which he is. And so, look at that. Look at that. They is so pretty. They is so, what was that, Stephen, what was that movie where they like, you is so kind, you is so smart, you is so, what is it? What is it?
I don't know. The Help. Someone said The Help, but I think that's what, I don't know.
No, I think it was The Help.
Okay.
No, I think
Chris
it was
said
The
that
Help.
that looks like Andre the Giant's sister. And he's dead on.
Well, the point is, Andre the Giant's very feminine sister.
What would you call that? Andre they Giant?
Andre they Giant. Andres they Giant is how they would like to be addressed. I mean, so my point is that this is all happening at a university near you. And it doesn't matter if you're in the South. It doesn't matter if you're at a Christian university. I mean, we hear, this happens at like Baylor University. It is all rotted, and we need to do something about this. And I think a good step would be not hiring mentally ill people who don't understand that they is just a dude with a ding-a-ling. I'm just going to say, okay? All right, let's go ahead and we'll take a quick break. And then when we come back, we're going to bring in our panel to talk about a couple of other things going on. You're not going to want to miss that. But first, I want to thank our sponsor of this segment, Kindred Harvest. So my younger son right now is, he has a fever, and we don't understand why. He is sick. So we would appreciate your prayers. But all that being said, we are consuming a lot of immunity tea that Kindred Harvest has right now, because when you choose Kindred Harvest, you know that the tea that you're getting is not going to be contaminated with microplastics and heavy metals. If you're getting your tea from the grocery store, it's going to come from China, and it's going to be contaminated with all of those things. So Kindred Harvest is the American answer, third-party lab tested, 0 microplastics, 0 heavy metals. It's blended and packed right here in the USA with 100% biodegradable heat-sealed sachets. There's no glue. There's no ink. It is the best. If you are looking for clean, Maha-friendly tea, we love their immunity tea. Like I said, they've got so many more. You can go to kindredharvest.co, use code Sarah for 20% off. That is kindredharvest.co. Use code Sarah for 20% off. Stock up now. It's getting cold out there. Make sure you have your Kindred Harvest. kindredharvest.co. Promo code Sarah. Welcome to the show. We have Matthew Marsden, Blaze TV contributor and actor and producer extraordinaire, along with Pat Gray, host of Pat Gray Unleashed, which you can find right here on Blaze TV, which, by the way, shameless plug, if you're still looking for a Christmas gift for someone, make sure, give them the gift of Blaze TV. You can use promo code Sarah and get some savings over at blazetv.com/Sarah. So, guys, thanks for being here. There's this, I think, wild story out of Illinois. I want to see what you guys think. I'm not sure if you saw this back in October. ICE arrested a police officer in Illinois. DHS said that he was an illegal alien from Montenegro, and he overstayed a tourist visa back in 2015. But obviously, this is the year 2025, and he was still here. And I want to play what Real America's Voice, they had like a quick conversation with him during the arrest. Here was that.
So they hired you on, you had work authorization?
Correct.
And you were able to carry a firearm?
No. Okay. On duty, yes. Off duty, no.
So on duty, you could carry a firearm?
State of Illinois, you need a Ford and a CCW to carry a weapon off duty.
But on duty, you could?
Correct.
Wow.
Now, that happened in October, and he was released on bond and rehired by the police department as of right now. So they say he was issued a work permit by the federal government. And so everything's totally fine. But the problem, which I'm sure you know firsthand, Matt, is that you receive a work permit if you're not a citizen and maybe you're like pending status. So maybe you're on your way to getting a green card. Maybe you're totally not. Maybe you're here illegally. I don't know. But the point is, either way, by law, you're not allowed to own or carry a weapon. Only permanent residents can. So if you went into a gun store, you would not be allowed to purchase a gun. But this guy was hired by the police department and then rehired again after ICE picked him up, mostly because Governor Pritzker in 2023 signed legislation allowing certain non-citizens to become deputy sheriffs and police officers in Illinois. This just seems like really bad policy. Like, this just seems like this could fall apart. This could get dangerous really quickly. And yet that is the state of Illinois under the leadership of Governor Governor Fatso.
Well, you know, it's funny because I can really talk to this because when I was in California, I was going to become a police officer, a reserve.
Really?
Yeah. And I couldn't because I wasn't a citizen. Even though I had a green card, I couldn't because I wasn't a citizen. I could join the armed forces, even though I'm an old fart, and I couldn't really join the armed forces. But I went through the whole process. A friend of mine actually went and joined. I will say this, though. You can own a gun. You can own a gun as long as you do a hunter safety course. This is even in the communist state of California. You can own a gun as a non-citizen.
If you're a permanent resident.
If you're a permanent resident,
right? But he's just here under work.
I'm not sure if you can being a visa holder as well. I'm not entirely sure on that, but I know for certain, even in California, you cannot become. They told me categorically, you cannot become a cop in California, in Los Angeles of all places.
Of all places, no.
So that is wild. And by the way, the other thing that most cops will say is that you have to carry your firearm off duty because when you're arresting people out there, if you're doing your job, there's a chance that you can have repercussions outside of that. So they want to, the chances that guy wasn't carrying his weapon off duty is...
Yeah, well, it was funny. He was real quick when they're like, so you're allowed to carry a firearm? He's like, no. Well, yeah. He was like it felt like very much that was his canned answer in case he got in trouble, was like, no, I don't. Oh, shit. I mean, you already see, so I guess I'll admit to it. Yes.
It's bat crap crazy. If you're a citizen in Illinois, open carry is illegal.
Yeah.
But an illegal working for the police department can carry a gun. I mean, he's not just here on a visa anymore. His visa expired. So the guy is actually an illegal alien working for a police department carrying a gun.
And it was a tourist visa, by the way, Pat.
Right. Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right. But see, it's been 10 years now, so he's just trying to build a life. And once you've been breaking the law for a decade, we can't stop you.
You gotta let him in.
Leave him here. He's fine. He's been doing it a long time. I love that train of thought, too. The longer they've been here, the better it is. Really, the longer they break the law, the better it is. And we should be okay with them being here.
You know, I'm just curious, on a legal matter, how is it that you get an illegal, someone who's breaking the law, who arrests you and goes in front of because oftentimes they have to give evidence, right, if they're arresting someone. How does that work exactly for the people that he arrested?
Yeah,
Great
You
question.
know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know if that has any bearing on it whatsoever. Yeah. But if you got a criminal doing that, then clearly I'd imagine there's a lot of people going, hang on a second, that guy arrested me. I want this thrown out of court now.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm not a criminal, but if I were, I would definitely. But
are you, Sarah? Are you really? Come on.
Well, it was interesting. We reached out to the police department, and they were like, "While the Hanover Park Police Department appreciates the media interest in this matter, we do not have further comment on the matter at this time." Like, I bet you don't. But how safe would you feel on the streets over in Hanover Park, Illinois, knowing that they're hiring illegals to protect you?
I mean, the world is upside down as it is. Illinois exceeds that by a factor of 10, probably. I mean, J.B. Pritzker is stark raving mad, and he's got Trump derangement syndrome so badly that he can't. It's impossible for him to uphold the law or make any sense. It's really amazing to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought things were bad with Blagojevich in Illinois.
That's a great point. And now it's like,
now it's
they probably long for the days of Blagojevich.
Oh yeah, you're pining for those days for a guy who had 4% approval when he left.
Right.
Yeah.
Before we go to break here, I do want to ask you guys really quickly your thoughts on the surprise pardon today. President Trump pardoned Democrat Congressman Henry Cuellar and his wife. They were indicted in May of 2024, accused of accepting nearly $600,000 in bribes in exchange for influencing United States foreign policy in favor of Azerbaijan and a Mexican bank. And he gave this big, long, I'm not going to read the whole thing, as you know how he is on Truth Social. He just goes and goes. But he basically said the Biden administration weaponized the justice system against their political opponents. And Henry Cuellar spoke out against open borders and the Biden border catastrophe. And so President Trump's point is Sleepy Joe went after the congressman, and even the congressman's wonderful wife, Imelda, is what he said. So that was his explanation for pardoning Henry Cuellar.
I think that the left must be very confused right now, right? So they're like, hang on a second, we want to defund the police, but we want to be for the illegal immigrants that become police, and we don't want them to be arrested, although we want the police to be arrested. I don't understand what happens here. And now they're looking at their own Congress people that now, hang on a second, Trump is pardoning a Democrat.
Yeah. And they'll find a way to
What is going on in my life right now? I don't understand the way I'm meant to feel.
They'll find a way to speak out against it. Like, I can't believe Trump is pardoning this Democrat. How dare he? It's not going to sound
They're
anything
in a
but
tough position on this one.
Yeah.
And Henry Cuellar is not exactly a MAGA type of guy.
Oh, no.
He is not a conservative Democrat.
No.
I mean, I'm kind of surprised he spoke out against open borders, but because he's stark raving liberal on everything else. So yeah, that's a weird one.
Well, I mean, but when you look at, because I'm like, listen, if he's a criminal, I don't want you pardoning him, right? Like, I don't want that. But I will say, I haven't looked at the merits of the case at all, but I will say, I do find it interesting. Eric Johnson over in New York City Eric Adams was also being investigated. He spoke out against the Biden border catastrophe. And then Henry Cuellar spoke out and just so happened to be indicted. So for me, I'm like, all right, I could buy that this was a weaponized thing. I mean, he was weaponizing every single agency against every one of us. So it's not a far stretch for me to think that he was, find me the person and I will find the crime type situation, just because I don't trust Joe Biden or anyone who worked in his administration. But I want to emphatically state for the record, if this guy's a criminal, I don't want you pardoning him. All right, let's go ahead. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be back with more. I find that transgender people just like they try to just ruin everything. And now I regret to inform you that they are trying to ruin Christmas.
I think we all agree, I do, that Christmas isn't trans enough, so this is our decree to fill it with transgender stuff.
What if Jesus was transmasculine?
And Santa was Saint Nicholas? What if all we want for Christmas is HRT for all of us? It's gonna be a transgender Christmas. We're T for T under the mistletoe. Ho, ho, ho. It's gonna be a
this is so demonic.
Transgender Christmas.
Good word for it.
Yeah.
We'll bury last year's place cards in the snow. This year we're setting boundaries with our families. We'll yassify the Christmas tree.
We're harvesting red chestnuts and roasting them out back.
I don't think you need to set boundaries with your family. I think your family's fine if you just skip Christmas and don't show up. I think your family's probably okay with that. I would be. I'd be like, yeah, you know, it's totally fine. You have stuff going on. Oh, it's completely fine. You guys are awful people, and I feel like I need an exorcism from just watching that.
I'm looking forward to the transgendering Ramadan.
That I'd like.
Are they going to do that,
Yeah,
or is
they're
it just
not
Christians they want to attack?
It's
And
just
Jesus,
the Christians, as it turns out. It's just the Christians.
Can't help it, can you? I mean, it was literally the third thing they said on that video was about Jesus. Like, why? Why?
Well, I think we know why.
Yeah. So it's not about acceptance. It's about poking us again.
Yeah.
And
over and over and over and
over. They can't help themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know what? You're getting zero sympathy, and you're getting less and less sympathy as you keep doing things like this.
Yeah.
And I think they're pissing off people even in the LGBT community. I think that even the alternate lifestyle people are getting sick of it because they've taken over everything. You can't say anything about it. You can't be opposed to it. You can't even try to protect children from being mutilated when they're 13 and 14 years old, or you're a transphobe and nobody wants to be called a transphobe. The power that they've gained so quickly is mind-boggling and creepy and demonic, I think.
It's really demonic.
Yeah.
It's really demonic. It is interesting, too, because these people, I mean, like, those people don't go to church. They're not Christians. And it's just another thing in a long line of the left trying to weaponize your own ideas and ideals against you. Right? Like, you're not Christian. You don't need to celebrate Christmas at all, actually. Why do you need to write a song about it?
Well, I think what it is, and my friend wrote a great book, Noelle Marion, called Awake Not Woke, and she details what this is, and it's the constant pushing of extremes to get attention.
Yeah.
And that's all it is.
Yeah.
They're not getting the attention that they want, so that, you know, people are like, oh, shut up, and now they've got to push it, so now they've got to offend more people.
Yeah. Not today. Nope, not today, Satan. We're not doing that. No, you can take that right back to the depths of hell from which it came. We're going to celebrate Christmas, and Christmas is about Jesus Christ and the birth of Jesus. And if you don't like it, don't show up to the family Christmas. I don't think your family is going to miss you at all. Matt Marsden, make sure that you follow his YouTube channel, Matthew D. Marsden, and Pat Gray, host of Pat Gray Unleashed. Make sure that you subscribe, tune in to his show as well. You can find it everywhere you find podcasts, and we will see you guys tomorrow.